Thank you, Adrian, for recording. Just going to remind everyone, this is a public meeting. The public has time at the end to provide comments. Typically, we would keep this a very fluid discussion, but because our specific goal in this special meeting tonight is to make changes to our bylaws, we're going to keep that towards the end. I just need to do a quick roll call of the voting commissioners. Leon?
Yes.
Hi, Leon. Nice to see you.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Brian?
Yes.
Brian present.
Yes.
Myself, and I know Kate may be en route. So we have 3 of our 4 voting commissioners here, which constitutes quorum.
It does.
Thank you all. Okay, so let me share my screen. Here we go. And let me see. Deep breath. Okay. I'm going to call this a labor of love. And I'm going to thank everyone again for making time for this. There are 26 items to look at. I would say less than 10 are changes that myself and Adrian recommended. The majority of the rest, 20 or so, came directly from either the Arlington Commission on Disability, the Boston. I don't believe some of the Boston was included in the MOD or the MOD's document. Yes, Adrian, you have a question.
I'm sorry, Holly. I know you are tight in time. You just said myself and you. Do you mean you and Harriet?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Myself and Harriet.
I just don't want to take credit for something that I have not done.
Oh, no. Adrian, which we're gonna, Adrian was kind enough to take the Word version that was created. That was the mirror image of our last bylaws from 2013. And she put in, can everyone see my screen? This February 2022 changes that were voted on. I kept them highlighted in the document. They were approved, they were voted. What didn't happen was they didn't get actually tucked into this lovely document. And these are the changes, excuse me. What they were about was that as long as a commissioner, when at the time of appointment or reappointment, remained a resident of Somerville, they could continue with the commission. The other change that we made was the term simple majority, help me, Brian. It's not
Yes, simple majority.
simple majority.
As opposed to previously, it was majority plus 1.
Correct. So
Or 50% plus 1, sorry.
4 members, half plus 1 gets us to 3. Here we go. 3 required to vote and deliberate. Does anyone have any quick questions? Okay, no vote required there. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to beg your forgiveness. Then I'm going to say that the biggest task, or the most visually changing task, is that the articles and the titles of such have changed in the last 11 years, as one would expect. So the first thing that we did was we changed what was in our bylaws. Oh, my document, which had articles, but they had different names. So the first thing is Article 1 used to just be name. It's now title and purpose. Article 2 is called powers and duties. We had that as purpose. Article 3, I hope I'm not making anyone nauseous by rolling quickly. Article 3 was always membership. We had that before. I'm not sure why I wrote MOD, it's the same. And then scrolling right along, Article 4 was officers. Where's our 4? 4. Article 4 used to be meetings. And Article 5 is here we go, the meetings. It's just sort of a swap. And then the last section is Article 7. So we have aligned our articles, the titles, with the current format. What we did as well is the existing text that may have been, so let's say underneath the title of purpose was actually powers and duties. So we took those and we moved them to that section. So how do we visually display this? So anything that is blue is something that we modified. So I'm just going to hit accept. Okay. So the title of our commission is now the Somerville Commission on Disability. That's what it's called. However, it is the, yes, Somerville Commission on Disability. And the reason it has MOD here is because that's where that description came from. The next part that I want to do requires a simple vote. And that is to agree that the titles that are here that match the Mass Office on Disability bylaws are acceptable. Does anyone
This is
want?
Jamie. Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
So all of the blue underlined text is things that have changed from the previous version?
Yes.
And then all the parenthetical like MOD stuff that's not intended to be part of the text?
No, that was my silly labeling theories. That was my able to say this came from MOD, the Mass Office on Disability document. So that's where I got that. It's because we had like 5 different versions and I was trying to label things. So the word MOD needs to come out of the bylaws, but it needs to be there to represent to the commission where it came from. So here's an example of a statement that we put in that comes straight from the Massachusetts general laws, this chapter, this section. It's a statement that we felt strongly about to cause the full integration and participation of people with disabilities in the city of Somerville. And we did not have that sentence in there before, but we proposed adding it to our purpose. And instead of saying MOD or Holly and Harriet, it has this reference here. So shall we accept this piece? I will remove the part that says, Mass General Law.
Holly, a question. Thus far on the screen, your mouse is frozen and we're still seeing the first page of the document. Is that intentional?
Certainly not.
I was just about to ask that myself.
Okay, so anyone have a suggestion?
How to move it?
Oh, maybe share your desktop.
It says I'm sharing my screen and it's a document.
Oh, don't use full screen mode in Word. Like take it out of full screen mode. I think Zoom gets confused.
How's that look?
No
It's-
change.
No
Change.
I would recommend unsharing and resharing.
What are you guys talking about?
Being able to see what Holly wants to show us.
Oh, okay, it looks nice.
That's Manu Chopra.
And is this better?
Yes. Okay, now we can see.
Is there anyone who cannot see the document that I've just been describing without realizing you couldn't see it? I apologize.
I can see a document looks nice.
Thank you. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is ask for a motion to accept the changes of the new articles. Can I have a first?
This is Liam. Is this just for like the changing the sectioning or the actual like text of the title and
Not-
purpose section?
Not the text, just as the heading that says Article 1. Just so we can get the format accepted, and then we'll go back through the sections.
So I'll second the reorganizing the articles and their titles as suggested. They don't make any substantive changes to the document. They just reorder them. Note that all the references would be removed that are in parentheses, correct, Holly?
Yes, Brian, exactly. So we have a first, we have a second. Shall we vote?
I,
Kate?
yeah, I'm voting yes.
Kate, we have a yes from Kate. Brian?
Yes.
And I from Liam.
An I for Leon, an I for me.
Aye for me.
We will, I'm going to hit accept changes, and I'm going to remove the MOD. And my fingers are crossed that this does not blow up on me.
Yeah. Holly, may I clarify something for the group since we have some new to us folks this evening?
Please, I appreciate that.
For Elise and Manu, I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome again. When it comes to voting things for the commission, everybody is allowed to give feedback and offer insight and ideas. But when it comes to the formal vote, that is actually only the commissioners. So for the sake of this conversation, that is Brian, Holly, Kate, and Leon. And I just want to clarify that so we don't get more hand raise and confuse counts. But we appreciate you being here, and please feel free to offer any insight because I'm sure it would be welcomed.
Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate that. We're going to hold public comments to the end, just because this is a very short 45-minute to review these bylaw changes. But we're very happy to have members of the public with us here today. So I'm going to accept this. This, and we have amendments. Okay. Fabulous. So we have that. Okay, the next thing I want to do is go through these individual pieces. And I think if we can agree, especially on things that are minor, these two changes that are here, if we can vote on these next. So Article 1, which is the title and purpose, incorporates the fact that the word is commission instead of organization. Does anyone have any questions about that? Any of the commissioners?
No.
The same statement here, hereafter referred to as the commission, it's because it just uses commission further on, is also from MOD. Any questions or concerns about those two changes? Okay, I'm gonna propose that we vote to accept these changes in Article.
Holly,
Yes,
may I make a procedural suggestion? If we
Please.
vote for every single one of these, there's no possible way we will finish in time.
okay, so shall I
I
keep going?
I would suggest that we table everything on an article by article basis and then vote for everything that we tabled for that article at once.
Okay, so keep going.
And provide everybody the opportunity to discuss and revise the revisions before we table it for a vote at the end of each article.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going through this article. The other things I just want to point out are related to formatting. Our prior document had things, had below articles, it had sections, and it had letters within sections. And the format now is simply to have an article with numbers throughout it. So you will see that there isn't a section here. It just goes through anything that's the title, and then these are the purposes. So the next piece that was added, because we actually didn't have, sorry. Title and purpose. We did not have an actual purpose statement. What we had before were duties in this section. So the pieces that are here are straight from the Mass Office on Disability. This number 3 is from Mass General Law that guides the creating of our commission. And number 4 is actually, not only is it from the Arlington Commission's bylaws, it's also in the MOD bylaws. The only thing that is different on number 4 here is that I added a comment about including public education and programs for students and families, because referral guidance, assistance, equal access, services programs, felt strongly that it does include public education, which is part of the ADA. So that's why I'm proposing that piece there. And the key here for this article is number 5, which again, straight from the MOD, is that these are the bylaws that establish the principles and procedures for the governance of this commission. Again, this is not to say that 2013 was an issue. 2013 was just a different time frame than where these bylaws live now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 changes here in this article. Does anyone have any questions or issues with the wording? This line here in number 2 that says known as MOD, that will remain in this statement, only because MOD is used further on, which represents the Mass Office on Disability. This piece here would not remain on that number 2. Okay, I'm going to take silence as joy.
Holly,
There's
Holly,
4
you
hands
have
up.
a bunch of hands raised.
Okay, can I hear from the commissioners first, the voting commissioners? Leanne?
Yeah, this is Leanne. I'm confused on number 2. You
Sure.
have that marked as coming from the MOD, and I don't see that in the MOD document you sent out. So I'm just wondering where that came
Absolutely.
from.
Perfect question. So if you open up the MOD document, it starts off with, it's on, Massachusetts Office on Disability letterhead. The first page goes over what a municipal commission on disability is. The next page, that is numbered page 2, has.
Oh, okay. I was looking at the bullet
changes.
points on the first page.
So if you look at on the MOD version.
Okay, I do see that now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think sort of more generally, there is a lot in this section. And compared to the other examples, either the MOD one or the Boston one, or both have just the name, one statement, and then the purpose of the bylaws. And I'm wondering, do we need all of these things here, or is some of that duplicating what is showing up later in power and duties and things?
We have to have a purpose, and the strength of this document is what guides us and drives all of the things that we do. And the most important piece of this, in my opinion, is the 5th one here, that basically says these bylaws establish what governs us. The other items here, 2, 3, and 4, are straight out of the Mass Office on Disability. other than the one that I had added here about what the state law says that we do. So these are not longer per se than what other commissions have. I didn't pull up, I did share Boston's, but I didn't use it because it was almost a carbon copy of what MOD had. And I didn't want to add another document to look at. Any other comments or questions? Kate, Brian?
I have one, and
Please.
this is Brian. I also have a concern with number 2. To me, I don't believe that this sounds like we are beholden to MOD. We don't, as far as I understand, have any legal or contractual responsibility to review or to coordinate or carry out with MOD. It makes this sound like we are subservient to MOD. And I do believe that we are a city with our own municipal integrity, and that we should, I'm fine with coordinating with them, but we shouldn't be carrying out their programs. And this very much sounds like we are their charge.
Well, in effect, the states each choose a independent agency to oversee the ADA and create these commissions, which includes the Architectural Access Board. So the MOD produces the guidelines, and in the case that we are their programs would include let me give an example of that. The grants that are available to cities and towns. It would include other services they provide. It doesn't mean that that is all that we do. I see your point about that we are not governed by them, but they are the governing body over commissions. If you would prefer
I
that.
think I would like our legal department to look at that. I'm not convinced that we can say that.
Okay. We can
and in general, is there a step in this process? I'm observing that the changes that are being proposed tonight are very substantial, and very long and encompassing the vast majority of this document. It's very much a wholesale change, and my question is there a step in this process where we have this reviewed by the city's legal staff?
We're not required to have the city legal staff. They certainly can review things after the fact, but as long as we have 3 members that vote on these, they are already following what the bylaws are that are produced by the Mass Office on Disability, as well as they're the same as what's in Boston and Arlington and other commissions.
Well, but this number 2 is not in the Boston bylaws. The remainder in this are fine, and I actually think that the logic of number 2 makes sense. The purpose of this commission, I don't know what it's, coordinate and carry out programs in order to bring about full and equal participation in all aspects of life in the city of Somerville for people with disabilities is fine. I question the need to say that we have to be responsive to the MOD. I believe that we are a separate organization that is set up under Mass state law and city bylaw and charter. We're not under the MOD.
Maybe the word is there. I understand your point. If you would like to make a suggestion on how you would change the wording of this particular item.
Sure. Let me see if I can get a copy. Hold on. Maybe I can just live stream it.
Do you want to wordsmith the change to me? Like,
Yeah, I think it should be, if you bear with me, for the purpose of the commission is to coordinate and carry out programs in order to bring about full and equal participation in all aspects of life in the city of Somerville for people with disabilities. I could see saying to the extent practical or as appropriate to coordinate these programs with the MOD. But why wouldn't we coordinate it with MAAB? Why wouldn't we coordinate it with the administration's ADA coordinator? Why wouldn't we coordinate with so many other entities that
No, no.
are very important?
so
I question putting MOD on a pedestal.
So all of the states ADA coordinators report through the MOD, and the MAAB is also part of the MOD. But I agree. I totally accept that you would like to change this section here and remove this sentence.
Okay.
I think that it still has the same strength, and I don't think that the statement weakens what it's trying to say in any way.
I think
Leanne?
removing that
Pauline,
section that
am
you
I allowed to
highlighted
make a comment?
would make me comfortable.
Pauline, give me 1 second. Kate,
Okay.
Leanne, do you have any concerns with removing this sentence here?
This is Leon. I think my concern is higher level than that of, I don't think that the overarching purpose of the commission is to coordinate programs. Like, I think that makes us sound like we are event coordinators and weakens the commission. So I think that I question point 2 in its entirety as something in the purpose section. I think that it belongs more in the powers and duties section. And I am not entirely certain what I would put in the purpose section. Given that this was only sent out a couple hours ago, I did not have a chance to fully think that through. So I would almost say leave this section. If we have time at the end of the meeting, come back to it. But I think that trying to sort this out would take most of the meeting, and that it might be better to focus on the rest of it and then come back to this. Because
Okay.
I think that this is a larger discussion about what is our purpose.
These are overarching terms. This section here is broad. If we were to go through to the actual end of this document from MOD, after amendments, there is a page of goals, and there are, if there's 9, 10 goals, these 9 goals. And these goals are actually straight from the article in Mass General Law, which is Chapter 40, Section 8J, that these are the goals of a Commission on Disability. And within those goals, they talk very specifics. Those goals do not need to be in our bylaws, but we can certainly incorporate them or memorialize them as an official document. But that is where the specifics are. Like an example is surveying buildings, meeting with staff to discuss regulations, planning, prioritize renovations, reviewing grievance procedures, making sure that public meetings are held in accessible locations, sign language. So the very specifics are there later on.
I'm not sure what that has to do with the purpose, with this feeling too specific for the purpose statement.
Kate, do you have any comment?
I think if we can table it for now and see if we can move on, I think that would be great. Like do you think the other ones will be easier? Or that,
There's nothing easy.
yeah, that's true.
But
How would it work if we, because
can we start with item 1? That is the name of it, hereafter referred to as the commission. Does anyone have any issues with those changes there?
no.
Not with specifically item 1.
Would it be okay, Brian, if I made a motion to vote to accept these changes here in Article 1, Item 1? With and removing the word MOD after commission and MOD after commission as their labels. May I have a second?
Right here.
Kate's a second. Brian, your vote is
In favor.
Leon,
I
Miss Kate,
Favor.
and I am also in favor. So we shall accept these. And I'm going to remove the 2 labels and we now have a section, Article 1, Item 1. Okay. I know we have a lot of concerns with Item 2. I do believe we should leave that alone for now. The second item here is something I felt strongly to put in here as it came straight from Massachusetts laws. And this is the actual chapter of the law that governs commissions on disabilities. I'd like to propose a motion that we accept item number 3 and removing the as per law section that I've just highlighted.
This is Leon. I think that 2 through 4 need to be discussed as a whole as a larger discussion. And I would not feel comfortable voting for any of that part as a final at this point.
So the statement that says to cause the full integration and participation of people with disabilities in the city of Somerville, you don't feel comfortable accepting that statement?
I think that the whole section, I want more than this having been sent out 3 hours before the meeting to
I understand that.
review that.
I'm just asking if we can, within the limited time that we have today, review some of these things and make some decisions. And what I'm asking specifically is removing this piece here. Actually, I'll just remove that. Is can we vote to accept item 3 and have that in our bylaws?
If I may, this is Brian. Leanne, correct me if I'm misunderstanding you, but 2, 3, and 4 work together to define the purpose of the commission and can't be taken individually. They have to be taken as a whole. And thus, and a purpose really is essential that we all agree and coalesce around a common purpose. And Leanne and I tend to agree that neither of us have had the opportunity to really sink our teeth into the meaning of this purpose.
Kate, do you have any comment?
I can appreciate what they're saying. So knowing that might take longer, can we skip this first section and move down and see if there's anything we can do? Or is that just?
No, I think that is fine. I am in Article 2.
This is Jamie. I believe that 3 associate commissioners have been waiting for a chance to speak. If we're tabling Article 1, maybe comments are no longer relevant, but it doesn't seem like you're able to see raised hands, Holly. So
No, I
wanted to make sure you're aware.
apologize. I can't. I'm very sorry.
Holly, would you like me to monitor hands?
That would be great.
Okay.
And I do think that as we just,
Brian, do you want me to do that since you're taking notes?
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean,
Okay,
I'm not
I got
taking specific notes. I'm more documenting what we are and are not.
I will.
changing.
I'll watch for hands then.
Okay.
I'll take a job off of you.
okay,
But I'm not taking specific notes because we have the text document, which is really good, Holly. Like this is amazing.
well,
I don't want I don't want our comments to get in the way of like this is amazing work that
no,
Harry
no,
put
no.
together.
We all have a voice. We all have a reason to be here. It's a collaboration. Thank you for what you're saying about this. So let's move on to Article 2. And I think we should table the questions if they related to things prior to Article 2. Only because for the sake of time, and when we do go back to Article 1, if people would like to send in those questions or comments to me after this meeting, they certainly can do that. I just want to see how many changes are in this section. Yeah, so this one is probably going to be not okay. So let's start here. This statement number 2, it was in our bylaws as is. The only thing that I'm proposing as a change is the words work and visit. Just so it is more inclusive. Because if we're only talking about enabling our citizens, our residents, within the integration of not just of people that visit and work here and shop here and have businesses here and send their children to school here, but aren't necessarily residents, I thought it was important to just add the terms work and visit. Any comments?
I am okay with. Oh, so Leanne has a hand up. Has her hand up. Leanne.
Yeah, this is Leanne. I am fine with that part. I also just want to say, noticing that it's 7:56, there were a couple points in later sections that I did have specific comment on. And
Okay.
do we want to just focus on things that people have specific comment on, since we don't, it doesn't look like we're going to get through everything?
That's
We're
fine.
not going to finish.
Can we, just to finish this one item here?
Yeah, I actually think that's a really important thing to add. I would even say assist the city and its citizens and those who work and visit Somerville in bringing about full. I might even say those who are residents might be.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can we say residents instead of
because
citizens?
residents suggest, or citizens suggest some sort of legal permission to be a citizen.
That's a good point.
But I couldn't find this section in the 2013 bylaw.
So let me go
And
back.
because it wasn't in Article 2. You must have pulled it from a different article.
Oh, because all the articles They all like danced around, so let me locate that for you. Is this the city and it's?
Excuse me, while you're locating it, this is Harriet. And
Hi.
I think you all are aware, commissioners, that it took a great deal to even have a 45-minute meeting today. Myself, personally, I've worked hours with Holly on this. I'm willing to spend another 15 minutes, 20 minutes, because getting us all together is so difficult. So aren't we dedicated sufficiently that we might consider doing this? I mean, I'm kind of imploring us, you know? It's just, if we can work some of this through, you know, it's very hard to process, but a lot of it is so obvious if you've done any disability advocacy at all. So I feel like let's try not to get stuck. And I would like to know if the commissioners are willing to stick around for 15 minutes longer than 8 o'clock.
I am. This is Katie. I am.
This is Holly. I am as well.
Honestly,
This
I did
is-
not realize it was only a 45-minute meeting. I don't have a concern with staying on for another 15, 30 minutes.
This is Leanne. I could stay for a little bit longer. Given the rate we've been going so far, I don't think I could stay long enough to actually get through all of this at this
Oh,
rate
yeah,
we're
I would
going.
not ask
And
that.
also I
Yeah.
want to be aware of the captioner's time and if we are able to extend on short notice like that.
but we do have live transcript or closed captioning as well. And this is recorded. Adrian, can you extend just the time of the Zoom for us?
And this is a captioner, and yes, I can stay longer.
Oh,
Great,
thank you.
thank you. The Zoom doesn't need to be extended, Holly. Since it's a reoccurring meeting, I have it set as like never expiring. I don't know what the Zoom terminology is for that, so it doesn't cut us off or anything like that.
Don't tell me never expiring. I'll never let you sleep.
But I think, yeah, please sleep and rest. That's important.
Adrian, does that work with you to continue?
Yeah, 15 more minutes I think is fine, and I'm glad our captioner has the flexibility.
Okay, and thank you, Harriet, for making that suggestion.
I have a question for the disability coordinator.
Sure, Polly.
It's Pauline.
Yes.
Would this be too much of a project to put into Braille?
I think I did not get it in time to do that. I think would you like it in Braille? And I can do either. I can send it to at the point we get it to this evening in the next 15 minutes, and then we can send it again once you all get to a finalized point.
Pauline, I think we can get you a very rough copy because, and I'll explain later. Just let somebody give me your phone number. Okay, thanks. It's Harriet.
Well, I need to talk to you anyway.
Okay.
Because I need your phone number.
Pauline, would you like me to send this to Perkins tomorrow, however far we get through?
Please do.
Okay, will do.
Because there are parts of it that Holly and I talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever we talked,
Right.
that are fuzzy.
Okay, that's
Definitely fuzzy.
Yeah.
It's a long
And
document, but how
right,
will a document, for those who understand Braille, be printed where this has so many comments and track changes and
That I am not sure of. That is a clarifying.
Well, you
question.
can.
Let's worry about that later, please.
okay.
Yeah, we can have a different conversation.
Yeah, I just had one more point, going back to what we were talking about, being beholden to MOD. We don't need to be, or do we? You know, it's almost as if they're caring for us and they don't need to.
Nothing.
Well, they are the governing body elected by our state to oversee commissions on disabilities.
Okay, but I think there's a difference between overseeing and
maybe the word is
you know.
advise. It might be my adjectives that that I don't mean to upset anyone with, but they are the body that the state
Yeah,
has
I
elected.
understand that. I understand that.
Can we
But
move,
I think-
can we move forward, please? Because we actually recommended a change of wording to remove a sentence which was agreeable at least to one commissioner, maybe two. And I'm
Okay.
recommending that we move forward and then we can continue later on this, okay?
Brian, I am befuddled as to where that sentence was when I'm looking at my documents.
Holly, it really is fine. It was more of
Okay.
a curiosity. And in general, I think that number 2 is fine. I don't have a problem with it.
Kate, thank you. Kate, do you have any,
No, if you don't hear from me, I don't have anything.
oh, we got to still ask though.
All right, I don't have anything. Okay.
Okay,
Sorry,
Leon?
I'll be more vocal. then.
This is Leon, just the like quick fix the typo of the apostrophe in its and switch that first and to a comma. And with that, I'm good. So city, comma, its residents, comma, and those who work.
I think we
the
can,
word
And then
and.
delete the and. And then I am good to approve that sentence and be done with it.
Thank you. I appreciate all the input, especially the grammar. So I'm gonna make a first to accept this change here in section Article 2, Item 2.
This is Leon, I will second.
Leon will second. Brian, your vote in favor?
I'm in favor.
I'm in favor too. This is Katie.
I'm in favor. Leon?
It's
Yes.
I'm in favor.
And Jamie has a question. Oh, Jamie no longer has a question.
Jamie, do you want to ask your question?
This is Jamie. Nope, Leon got it. I was just gonna correct the grammar.
Thank you. Okay, so then we voted to add this sentence, item number 2 here, and we've corrected the punctuation. So that.
Oh, wait, this is Jamie again. Actually, there was one more thing that is probably minor enough that it doesn't need its own vote. But I think the word in should be after the word work. So those who work in and visit Somerville.
I think we can deal with that.
Do we need another vote on the word in?
No.
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 Okay, then we will accept the grammar. Thank you very much. We have a number 2. Okay. I'm not going to touch number 5 because that goes to the same vein of how we work with the MOD. So I'm certainly going to table that for now.
Just with an I, this is Leon, with an eye to time, can I request that we skip to Article 3? There were a few substantive comments I
Absolutely.
had on the membership.
Absolutely.
First off, the right at the bottom of the screen right now, where you have 7 individuals, the majority of whom will be persons with disabilities, and you have that split as 4 residents with a disability and 3 who don't need to. I believe it is the majority of the entire commission shall consist of members of people with disabilities, which would mean 5 rather than 4.
This is how it was to begin with. It was 1 elected, 1 individual, and then 7 individuals, the majority of whom will be persons with disabilities.
So it's the majority, and it says it above, the majority of members shall consist of people with disabilities. So the elected or appointed municipal official and the family member would not need to be included in that count. So
but
there would need to be 5 people with disabilities. And since those first 2 spots are not required to be people with disabilities, then 5 of the remaining would need to.
However, the second one is by association, a family member of a person with a disability.
Yes, but a family member of a person with a disability is not necessarily themselves a person with a disability.
They
So they
are
would not
actually
fulfill that
by
requirement.
law. They are, which I was surprised to find out, that when you have a child or a person that you take care of, a family member with a disability, you are also, when you are speaking on their behalf or caring for that person, also considered to have a disability, not in the sense that you qualify for, say, I'm not going to say it right, Lan. If you would like to review this piece later, we can, but I'm not comfortable with changing those numbers yet. We can certainly ask. I did actually review these with the MOD, but there's also a discussion going on as far as our membership and the 9 seats that exist. So unless the
Are you getting these numbers from the draft ones that you sent out from the MOD?
no, this section right here, this question that says for our residents and our persons with disabilities, and the others are, of course, my daughter's calling my ears, and the other can be residents. So that was just to carry out the specifics of these 7.
Holly, is the portion in parentheses with 4 residents and 3 residents intended to be part of the bylaw, or is that just for your reference to understand what it means, what you think?
That piece there, that was to support where the 7 are.
So my concern with labeling 4 and 3 in particular, it makes it seem like we could have in this resident section, this section of 7 members, that if we didn't have all 7 members, we could have just 3 residents of Somerville who do not identify as people with disabilities, because we've called them out separately. Like, there are 3 seats for people without disabilities, and I don't think that's what it looks like.
So how would you, I take it, I understand your point. How would you quantify that of the 7, or even if you were to say of the 9, the majority will be persons with disabilities?
So I actually think the way it's originally written solves all those problems. If the majority of the residents, if the majority of the members who are residents only are people with disabilities, and we'll assume that the elected or appointed municipal official is not a person with disability, and we use your logic that the parent is a person with disability, then you will always have a majority members are people with disabilities.
Correct. But
so there's no need to change anything here because it already accomplishes our goal. And I think changing it just serves to confuse the matter rather than solve a problem that doesn't exist.
So one thing that you touched on was that if the 4 and 3 may be how the math falls, let's just say, or even maybe it's 5 and 2, that if we were to have 2 seats that were filled by persons who do not identify as having a disability, that would be an issue if we didn't also have persons as majority who did have disabilities, because that's not something we can always have. However, that's what we would like to have. Like, if we don't have a family member right now, but that doesn't mean that the commission still doesn't exist. Hopefully we will be getting one soon. But if we had, for some reason, I'm listed with the city clerk as a resident, not as a person with a disability. And Kate is also listed as resident, which means that right now we only have Leon as a commissioner who identifies as a person with a disability. But we're still a commission. So I absolutely want the majority of people to have people with disabilities. And I feel that in a sense, all members, if they are residents of the city who may not identify as having a disability, I would prefer that they are people who work in the field, have are associated with I'm not going to say it right, it's just too late in the day, but are there who feel the same and want to ensure that persons with disabilities within the system, within the city, have the same rights as everyone else. So that's sort of my mindset for it.
So when you have certain seats on a commission for people, if those aren't filled, the commission still exists. If you
Correct.
have 9 commissioners, if you don't have all 9 commissioners, the commission still exists.
Correct.
So I don't think that's you can't invalidate the commission by losing members. Even if by losing members, you don't have the composition that you would prefer, or you are required to elect into it, or appoint into it, as this case is. I don't believe we run a risk of it becoming non-existent unless it was a commission of 1.
The issue that we have right now, actually, it will be an issue for a commission of 2. Is right now within the city, these slots that are available for persons who, whether it be 2 or 3, who do not identify as having a disability, are not being publicized as openings for the commission. So when we're sending out the call for commissioners, we are specifically stating that we are looking for persons who identify as having a disability and an individual who is a parent or family member of a person with a disability. We are not including that the commission is also made up of residents of the city of Somerville who may not identify as disabled. So we're missing that opportunity of persons like myself and Kate who are in slots, we call them slots,
Yeah.
as persons who are residents who do not have disabilities. So that is part of the reason why I'm asking this to be listed this way. If no one else, if the other 3 commissioners do not agree with this, I will gladly take it out. That is the only reason why I put it here.
I'm not in favor of it, but I've said my piece on it, and I'll stand down.
Kate?
Sorry, I haven't been able to pay attention to this part. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I understand some of it. She's okay, Mom. Sorry, there's just some things happen.
Okay, then I think we should table this. I don't feel.
Leanne has their hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that the current like listing that the city clerk has, or at least the one that it's not quite current anymore, but as of like a couple months ago, does have specifically spelled out, the slot for an elected appointed official, a slot for a family member, and then 5 slots for a person with a disability. So if we are going to write that out, then I think it does need to be that 5-2. And if not, then I think making sure that the majority of members shall consider people with disabilities at the top is not in conflict with the majority of that 7 must be, or it supersedes it.
Okay, give me, I am listening. I am looking for one document as we are talking. Forgive me. I think I just lost my train of thought here.
I just interject, Lynn, can you just summarize what you just said? It was not really understandable to me.
So the city clerk has a like a record of the slots and the people who are in them and when their terms end. And they do have 5 of the slots are specified as person with a disability. And then there are 2 open slots. Open in the sense of without that requirement, not open in the sense of unfilled.
So you don't have a disagreement if we just slightly reword this? Is that what you're saying?
So I think definitely taking out the bit about 4 and 3 because that's not even the correct numbers. And I'm not entirely, I would need longer to think about how to word it to not have a confusion between is it the majority of the 7 that must be, or is it the majority of the entire commission that must be?
Leon and Holly, may I make a recommendation? What I think would resolve the situation, but I could be wrong.
Sure.
That we get rid of any of the language about majority of the members and just say 1 elected or appointed municipal official, 1 individual who is a parent, etc. 5 residents of the city who identify as people with disabilities, and 2 residents of the city. And then we have 4 different categories, each with a maximum number of people who can fit into it. And yes, it is possible that we could have a commission with just people without disabilities. That will always be a reality that could be possible as people time off and they don't get replaced. But
possible, but not a goal.
Not a goal. I'm not saying it was a goal.
Yep. I don't want anyone to think any of us are saying that. Yes.
No. But from a bylaw document to create, I think the term seats is more appropriate, to create a set of 9 seats, 5 of which a clear majority are for people with disabilities. And the remaining 4 seats are a combination of residents who could be advocates or interested or have special knowledge that would be helpful to the commission, as well as the municipal and the family member.
So I like what you're saying, Brian. If Leon and Kate agree to that, I think that would be a great way to change this statement here. I was able to pull up the call it slots. I agree it should be seats. And they have the list of 9, and they have the categories of mandatory or optional. And we have 5 mandatory seats, which are 3 persons with a disability, a family member, and an elected or appointed official. And then there are 4 optional seats. So there's 5 and 4. So the majority are seated, however, that appointed one. So you know what? I think that this doesn't need to be here.
I mean, the part that Brian objected to, right? The 3.
Well, I think what Leon said, and then Brian articulated it in another fashion that included that. But I think that unless someone else disagrees, I think that I should leave that alone. Which is where it was just like, oops, that.
You want to read it out? So I hear that.
Yeah, you need 1 carriage return.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Leon. I have a proposed wording that I think might cover all of the cases. So have instead of, so have 1 seat shall be filled with an elected or appointed municipal official. 1 seat shall be filled with individuals who is a parent or family member. 5 seats shall be filled by residents with disabilities, and 2 seats may be filled by any resident.
Brian, Kate. Actually, that means there's only 9, 7. Brian,
And
Kate,
that-
any comments on Leanne's suggestion? Kate's
This is
quiet.
Brian. I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with that too. I was thinking.
Okay, so
I'm typing it out in the chat if you want to copy and paste rather than.
I can't see that. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's because I haven't finished and sent it yet.
Oh,
Could it be voted on anyway? Use my interjection, Harriet speaking.
oh gosh. I think
You
someone's
can
gonna
leave-
have to read me the chat.
Can I read the chat?
Sure. You wanna let me know what the chat says from Leanne? I'm not sure if Leanne posted it yet, but that would be very helpful.
I think they may be typing it still.
Okay.
It's not up there yet, right?
All right, we're gonna let Leanne take their time.
Apparently the chat doesn't show you more than 3 lines. So give me a moment to
Oh.
actually see what I'm typing.
Chat 2 and then chat 2 more, I guess.
Holly, I have a suggestion. It's Frank.
Hi, Frank.
No. Instead of saying that the commissioners shall consist of the following, you could just say the commissioners will include, and then, you know, 1 elected official, 1,
And all the rest of it.
yeah, and then 5 people who identify as people with as persons with disabilities. And you don't have to mention the other 2 because you've already stated in the beginning that there are 9. So it's redundant to have to mention the 2. And you've already stated that they have to be residents of Somerville at the time of initial appointment. Well, no, not there.
I put in the chat the proposed wording if you want to, if it's easier to copy and paste.
Why don't you read it too, please?
So I have 5 seats. So this would be after, so the commission shall include 9 commissioners, blah, 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 and the majority shall consist of people with disabilities would stay there. And then instead of the breakdown that is currently there, I have 5 seats shall be filled with persons with disabilities. 1 seat shall be filled by an elected or appointed municipal official. 1 seat shall be filled by a parent or family member of a person with a disability, and 2 seats may be filled by any Somerville resident.
I would change the any to concerned, interested. God. Maybe
I appreciate your comment, Harriet, that, you know, where your heart is there. But I think that the goal is simply to say that they may be residents. Clearly, we know that, and the city knows that what would be suitable as a resident who does not identify as having a disability to be part of the commission. And
forgive me, I was being a little sarcastic, which is inappropriate.
no, it's not inappropriate. I'm just tired. I apologize. So I've lost myself. The commission shall.
Holly, okay. Let's finish this section up.
Yep.
Let's just get over it.
Brian, can you, the commission shall include 9.
Oh no. No, that's not where we should have put include.
Yeah, I agree with Frank.
Uh,
That the commission shall consist of 9 commissioners. So change that back. The instead of the last sentence that says the majority of members shall consist of people with disabilities, it should say the members of the commission shall, I don't know if it's shall or may. It should just be the commissioners include the following.
Yeah.
Jamie, put it in the chat if it works for people.
I think it doesn't work for.
This is Jamie.
Holly.
I've put a suggestion for that paragraph in the chat.
For some reason, I can't see chat.
Hmm.
The chat lists.
Oh, because when you're screen sharing, you can't.
Yeah.
You cannot see the
Oh,
chat.
no.
The commission shall consist of 9 commissioners. The majority, 1 elected, 1 individual, and then not knowing what the chat says. Can anyone help me with?
Okay, okay, so Holly, everything that you have with the 1, 1, 5, and 2, I think is good. And Leanne, correct me if you think otherwise. I think the only thing that needs to be removed is the sentence that says the majority of members shall consist of people with disabilities, because that's redundant now, because we've addressed it by numbers.
I would.
And it
This is Leanne.
says representing as many disabilities as possible and will consist of the following, and the following is the numbered items. Leanne, correct me.
I would actually prefer to leave in the sentence saying the majority of members shall consist of people with disabilities, because I think that is important to make explicit. The thing I wanted was the removing the duplicate
okay,
in the having it split out.
I'm 100% fine with that.
I was just seeing if it was also listed below, Leanne, so.
Holly, if I email the wording to you, is that easier for you to add in?
Is this,
Yeah, this one. Leanne, this doesn't match your wording exactly, but I think it accomplishes the same thing.
if I stop sharing, then I can see the chat.
But
You want to
Leanne,
do that and
okay,
fix these up and then reshare?
Absolutely. I'm sorry, everybody. Chat.
I guess Zoom hasn't decided we can have it all yet.
I don't think I can multitask to allow it either way. So let's go back here. Okay. Fingers crossed, everyone. No. No, it didn't work.
It's entirely possible that Zoom chat just doesn't let you copy and paste, because I was trying to copy what Jamie had
You
written
know
and
what?
it's
I
not
don't think it
working.
does, because this is Katie, when I try to do the minutes sometimes, I ask people to write it down for me because I can't get it fast enough. And I often have that problem.
When in doubt, take a picture.
Yeah, it has to do with how the meeting is set up. Someone has to log into the Zoom account and allow the chat to be cuttable and pastable.
So it's a programming thing, really. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
it is.
a setting
It's like a
choice.
permission.
It's a setting choice.
I'll look at that, Frank. I didn't know you had to set it in the back end, but I'll look at it.
5 seats shall be filled by. Is it okay if I leave this individuals who by, well, you know what, by.
This is
Uh,
Jamie. I feel like we have an understanding of the intent, and what remains is to just get the words together, and that would perhaps be better done outside of the meeting. There's no reason it needs to be voted on tonight when we have plenty of other changes that will need to happen in the future anyway.
I agree with your point. However, I think I just did it. If
Before we disband, this is Harriet. I just have one question for everybody.
sure.
Harry, did you want to speak or did you want us
No,
to
I just
move,
wanted, I
move
just,
this section?
no, I'd love to move this section and I have
Okay.
nothing to say about it. It's more about how we could continue after this meeting. That's all. Yeah. Meet again, perhaps, before the 14th.
How'd I do, Lian?
Looks great.
Okay, so I'd like to put a motion that Article 3, Item 1 shall be accepted as it's written. However, this notation about MOD is not included. Do I have a second to accept these?
I hate to do this, but we've added these shalls in here. And I worry that when you put shall, that means that if they're not filled, that's a problem.
I'll switch it to May.
No, I mean, I think it should have been, I'm not gonna, just go ahead. It should, I don't think it really matters. I'm being persnickety. I'll move to approve this as written once you put the shall back in to be consistent.
Once I shall, the shall.
Yes, once you shall, the shall.
If we on another pass feel that shall is not serving us well, I think we can revisit that because I see what your point is there.
You already have one shall. More
We
shells can't be
shall,
any
we
worse than the
shall.
one.
Okay,
I will second.
so we have a second. Kate, what's your vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Liam,
Yes.
Brian. Are you a yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay, sorry, and I'm a yes, so this passes. I shall accept all of this beautifulness, and this piece that is highlighted in yellow no longer needs to be yellow. I will change that afterwards. That was the piece that was added in from the bylaw changes last time. Okay, so
Time check.
time check.
Holly, I have to move that we adjourn.
Okay.
I just had one question. Would anybody in this meeting, you commissioners, that is, be willing to meet once again for 45 minutes if we can manage it, to just kind of go over this? Because clearly, if we have any other agenda on the 14th, we can't manage it. So I think that was the purpose in doing this separately. So it's just a suggestion. And I guess I'm very devoted to it because with Holly, and I've been on a little subcommittee, and I'm very eager to see us do justice by it. So that's all.
We've been sleeping and eating this.
Yeah, I 100% agree. May I suggest that we reserve only a half hour of the next 4, 5, 6, how many ever regularly scheduled meetings it takes from each meeting. We've just increased the meeting time from 90 minutes to 120 minutes. So use that extra half hour for the next 3 or 4, how many ever meetings, to go through and finish up the bylaws in bite-sized chunks.
So the meetings are 2 hours.
Previously, it was only 90 minutes.
Oh, we voted,
We just increased them to 2 hours.
yes. So you're saying dedicate a certain time within each of those. Okay. I think I'll take both thoughts into
You do not have to decide right now, Holly. You're the
Yes.
chair and you can decide between meetings. But I think Harriet and I are just giving you 2 reasonable options.
and I appreciate both of them. Okay. I'm just going to entertain for the last 2 minutes any associate commissioners that wanted to add any comments. I apologize the way that this meeting was very structured. And then I will adjourn at 8:40.
This is Leon. I do have one question. If we have other comments that we didn't get to, should we save them for the next meeting or should we send them to you?
Please, I beg you, send them to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
It was a nice meeting.
It was very nice meeting you all. Thank you. It was nice meeting you also.
Yes, it was very nice.
Nice
Um,
venue.
Thank you.
Holly, can you get Pauline's number to me or my number to her?
Yes, either myself or Adrian will make sure to exchange that. Okay, so I'd like,
I can join you in the next meeting.
yes, we would like that very much.
Okay.
If you want to put your contact information, maybe an email address in the chat window, either myself or Adrian can either send you links to the meetings or provide you with any information you would need so that you can know when those meetings are, if you would like to.
Thanks, Mom.
I
I'm
can
gonna
enter my email address. Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn the meeting. It's 8:40 p.m. May I have a second?
This is Leon. I will second.
Brian, can I have your vote?
Aye.
Kate,
Yep.
Lynn,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So all in favor, we are adjourned.
Thank you, Holly. and
I
Harriet.
put my email for you.
If you want to hold on just another minute or two, I can stop sharing my screen and the other commissioners or persons who need to leave can. And then maybe if Adrian, you can just stay on, just so we can make sure that.
I already have it in an email to you, Holly, so I already did it.
Good night,
The
everyone.
disadvantage of not seeing anyone. Okay. Love you all. Thank you so much. Great
Thank you, Holly,
progress.
for everything. Thank you, Holly.
Really good work.
See you on
I'm
Valentine's
impressed.
Day.
See you on Valentine.
Bye.
Bye, Lou.
Bye.